Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back. In this one today, we're going to be taking a look back at Black Ops 4 Zombies and explaining why it's an underrated masterpiece, because I see so many people giving undeserving hate towards this game. Black Ops 4 has always been one of my favorite COD Zombies game. The hype for this game months before it came out was unreal and hasn't ever been seen in the community. The amount of community interaction before the launch of Black Ops 4 was on par with the Rising Track and Revelations. A ton of YouTubers got flown out to the reveal event for this game, where we would learn that this game would launch with multiple game modes, those being Rush, Factions, and Custom Mutations, as well as 4 maps. This was the most amount of content that was ever announced for the launch of a COD Zombies game. The return of 2 Ether storyline maps and the introduction of 2 new Chaos storyline maps left a lot of content for everyone in the community to enjoy. If you wanted to see what happens next in the Ether storyline, you had a remastered version of Mob of the Dead with a premise crew, but if you were tired of the Ether storyline and instead you wanted an entirely new storyline with a completely new cast, you had 2 Chaos maps. Everything seemed to be going well after this reveal event, but as we got closer to launch, problems started to come up. The return of the Season Pass was announced, which at this point in time was seen as a scam, since other popular games like Fortnite and Minecraft gave access to all of their in-game features for free or for a very low price under $30. To get all the content in Black Ops 4, you had to pay upwards of $100, which for a Call of Duty game wasn't new, but for new players coming from Fortnite, which provided a ton of content and was free to play, it didn't seem like a fair deal. Other shocking news that was for Zombies specifically was that this game was going to launch without Jug, and Factions, a huge game changer for Zombies, was also going to be delayed. Even with these tidbits of bad news, the community was still excited for the launch of this game. Some content creators who have already seen and played throughout the game were a little bit skeptical about certain features, but were still excited nonetheless. The game launches and complaints began to instantly stir up. The game was constantly crashing and the lack of Jug made it impossible to survive in the triple digits. So much hate started to come out of this game, and while some of it was justified, like not having Jug and all the constant crashing, other complaints I felt weren't justified. People hated maps like Voyage of Despair and Blood of the Dead because they were too hard and should have had more content. A lot of people began to default these 2 maps in particular as some of the worst of all time, which I completely disagree with. To me, both of these maps are mediocre. I do like Blood of the Dead a little bit more. In my opinion, I think that map is actually slightly above average. And while I do agree that they are hard maps, I don't think that justifies them being bad. Players like to hate on the Morse code step for Blood of the Dead, but you don't even have to fully know Morse code in order to complete it. There were other Easter egg steps in the past that were much more annoying and harder without a guide than the Blood of the Dead Morse code step, like the Gurad Krovi Valve step, yet Blood of the Dead gets all the hate. Voyage of Despair got a ton of hate because the map didn't have enough emotion for being set on the Titanic, which I guess you could say is underwhelming, but to default it as a horrible map, I think isn't justified. With the countless complaints from the community, Treyarch instantly got to work and began fixing a lot of these issues, like making it to where you can down in 4 hits instead of 3, so that you always have Jug, as well as making it harder to crash into the later rounds. These were must-fix issues that I'm glad that they fixed, but I will give them some flack. There shouldn't have even been crashing issues or health issues to begin with. With all the time that Treyarch took trying to fix this game, they completely lost focus on the game modes and features. Factions would be even further delayed and eventually would get cancelled, and all the maps for the Season Pass would be rushed for completion. To make it even worse, Blackout would gain a ton of attraction in comparison to the other modes, so they would carry over a lot of the zombie creators to Blackout. out. Everyone felt as if zombie players were being betrayed, but so many forgot about the countless amounts of content that we got for the launch of this game. The Season Pass started off strongly and quickly with the release of Dead of the Night, which wasn't a bad map. I didn't like the characters, but everything else about this map was alright from a gameplay perspective. But everyone once again defaulted this map as one of Treyarch's worst because it didn't have the Ether crew and there was little to no promotion for the launch of this map. Two factors that have absolutely nothing to do with the gameplay on this map, but it completely changed everyone's perspective on the quality of this experience. All the other maps for the Season Pass would come out soon after, and the only one that would get any love at all was Ancient Evil, which I appreciated because that map is my favorite of all time. The two other Ether storyline maps were underwhelming, the gameplay and cutscenes weren't the best for those maps, and overall I would consider them to be below average in comparison to Treyarch standards. So many people were done with zombies at this point, including me. We have had a long continuous run of zombies content that started way back with the launch of Black Ops 3. Every year the bar got set up even higher for COD zombies. IW and World War II were released back to back, and all they did was increase the hype for the return of Treyarch zombies. With the popularity of Fortnite during the time, it was supposed to be a giant battle between these two games. The popularity of Fortnite indirectly changed Black Ops 4 because they had to completely scrap the campaign and do a battle royale mode instead. Even with all this pushback, they still delivered a good product. Could it have been better? Probably, but I think a lot of people put unrealistic expectations for this game, and the hate is derived from those expectations not being met. When you put Black Ops 4 in a vacuum, void of all the drama and community lashback, you have a pretty good game. Phenomenal maps like 9 and Ancient Evil, great maps that have in-depth stories like Blood of the Dead. Everything is there for a great zombies mode. It was the delivery that made it worse and that made it horrible for people to digest. People complained about Treyarch not being responsive to the community, but they fixed a ton of issues with the game and even made videos responding to the community's comments on certain features. Is Black Ops 4 perfect? No, but it's incredibly underrated. The bar was set so high for this game, and because it didn't exceed the players' expectations, everyone defaulted it to being a bad game. Some of the hate was deserved, but there were so many great things that this game did that got completely overshadowed because of the bad things. I think if Treyarch waited a little longer before releasing this game, it could have been a lot better and received a lot better as well. But what we received was still a great zombies mode, and that is why Black Ops 4 is an underrated masterpiece. Anyways guys, it's going to wrap up the video for today. It was a bit of a short one, but I just wanted to talk about some things that people hate in this game because I feel that a lot of the hate is unjustified. But regardless, if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, do all that. Leave your comments down below if you want to see me do any other type of content. Check down the description as well for more zombie related videos. And yeah, I got nothing much else to say, so peace.